Let's make the magic. I like that.
We'll put that on the tweet.
The Wednesday night, Soren Petro's here with us. I'm guessing I just tweeted it out as Soren Petro, or
probably.
You just never know. You never know. Did I get it right? I think I did. Exhausted. Not really exhausted, actually, just exasperated. Busy day. Oh, no. We got a situation here. We got one of the cats in here, and she feels trapped.
So go let the damn thing out.
No.
So you don't get cats.
She can open the door. Walking through the trash. So anyway, busy day. Got to tell you about it.
Yeah.
First of all, got home a little late.
Oh, this is the story. It's not like a sports story. This is a Cofield story you said you had.
Multiple stories.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Some good ones. But maybe you can relate to it.
Doubtful.
What'd you guys eat tonight at home? What'd you eat at the Petro house?
My wife made a chicken. Like whenever I get back into the studio, I'm really gonna because we got a busy night. One of the girls does dance, and so I'm off the air at 5:56, and my oldest daughter is in the door to the little room I've carved out to make a little studio area, and she's like, "Yeah, Mom says dinner's about ready." I'm like, I literally, I just signed off, and I'm here. I didn't have to drive home. Like in the old days, I'd get a text.
Yeah.
When are you going to be home? I'm not going to grow wings and miracle myself there, right? Like the normal time it takes to drive from A to B, right? So now I still get sweated about when are you going to be at dinner, and it's 25 feet from where I'm sitting now, and we send down, my daughter to come get me anyway. But I get it. My other daughter had dance, and so let's go. We got to come on, let's go. So we had she made a new recipe, some kind of chicken.
Nice.
The sauce, some mashed potatoes, green beans. It was fantastic. She makes all these things. She says we eat the same thing all the time, but she makes all these new recipes. They're all really good. And my oldest daughter now puts them in her phone. So because my wife can't remember what she made and what we like, and so she now makes a list. Go back and make this, Mom, because she tries all these new things, and it's awesome. So I'm completely spoiled when it comes to dinner at home.
Organized.
Long answer. I know you didn't want a long answer.
No, it's good. I'm jealous. Organized, well cooked. Daughter's pitching in, menu set. It's beautiful. Yep. And it's at you get off the air at 5:56. Let's go. Dinner's on the table at 6:03.
I was eating before SportsCenter hit.
Wow. What a life. It's like Father knows best. They adore you. I've been around them too. That all they do is praise you. All of them. It's great.
That's not the case. You're completely full of shit on that one. You know that.
That's so awesome. Well, I came home. Actually, I got a call because I was over at the Battleborn Broadcast Center. All right, take a look.
There it is.
This is makeshift Battleborn Broadcast Center. And it was like 6 o'clock stop of the show, 6:18. Hey, well, I get a call. What's going on for dinner? And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna be a little while. She's like, well, I already threw something in, so I'm gonna eat this. I'm like, all right, here we go. So she made herself something. What are you gonna do? I got home, it wasn't done. She tried to make a cauliflower pizza in the.
I'm a fan, by the way.
In the air fryer.
In the air fryer.
What
do you? How big is your air fryer?
Well, I mean, it was probably this is like a mini pie, maybe like a 9-inch pie.
Okay.
Right. So she put it in there, and then the bottom didn't cook. Anyone who cooks cauliflower pizza at home, it's a nightmare.
It is a tough thing to cook.
The top gets charred. The bottom takes forever to cook. So then I had to go makeshift. I'm like, well, the barbecue's on. So I had a little platter or a little metal dish that I have, right? Pizza cooker that's got holes in the bottom perforated. And I put it on there and it cooked it. So that was pretty decent. But look at this number. Look at this number. I mean, come on. The meat up on the bottom here. Oh, Maron. Look at this. It's beautiful. Come on up. Let's go. There. Look at that.
Wow.
Look at that. Look at that.
Is that what you had?
It's like a double cut pork chop.
Yeah,
oh, my God. Dude,
what'd you go with the baked crumb thing instead of fried? It's like the fried kind, or what is that?
It's like my own home version of shake and bake.
Yeah, okay.
I had some mashed potatoes I'd made the other day, so wow, it was good. Double cut pork chop, it was good.
Yeah, that's strong, man. I'm impressed.
Yes. Good stuff.
We had
Here's the truth. I didn't make that. Yeah, I didn't make that.
You're such an
our buddy Ryan McKinnell made it, and then he likes to show off his food. He actually did cook that in the air fryer.
Yeah.
And sent it over. I was like, okay, well, that's good. Very nice.
My wife does chicken that way, and we'll do like with so it's like baked, but it kind of gives you the flavor like it's fried. She's trying to keep me from dying of a heart attack by cooking healthy. But when you make it really good and then you eat 3 of them, like it kind of destroys the purpose.
Sure.
So, but she does that, and then marinara sauce, and it's awesome. It's great. Get a little salt in there. It's fantastic. Yeah, you are. That is a problem.
I didn't call it a barbecue. What I call it, a grill?
No, you called the grill a barbecue.
Oh, I did? Well, I could call it a grill. Whatever.
That's an East Coast thing, though, for Tony. I mean, they do that.
I don't.
Everybody out East calls the grill.
Is that right? Yeah. You're right.
Oh, I put it out on the barbecue. No, we barbecue things in Kansas City.
It's a good point.
Cook meat on a grill.
It's a good point.
When you come from a place that there's like no good barbecue, it's like whatever. Like that is where I assume the mindset for people in the Midwest, the mindset back east is, well, if I were gonna barbecue something, that's where I'd cook it, so it's a barbecue. But it is offensive to.
I'll call it a grill from now on. I screwed that up.
Those in Kansas City that know the greatest barbecue on earth.
I actually, truth be told, I didn't take a picture of it because I'm not a big foodie picture person. I actually did make myself a steak from Meat-Up. I made a ribeye that I had just seasoned just with salt and pepper earlier in the day. Took it out. I've been trying to like master this Pittsburgh style that McKinnell talks about. It's basically charred to like really charred, but it's actually rare or medium rare inside. But you have to get it at like a super high temperature.
Yeah.
You never get the temperature on the grill high enough. So I freaking lit up every burner I had. I threw on the cast iron pan. I threw in avocado oil. It was smoking, and I actually got a good char, and it was pretty decent.
You can, if you don't have a good grill, right?
Yeah.
You can char it with like a frying pan.
Yes.
And then put it on the grill.
Well, that's what I did. I used the cast iron straight the whole time on the grill.
Okay.
I mean, I could throw a cast iron pan into an oven and load that thing up to like 600.
I like how in your latter years, Steve, you've become a foodie.
You know what's I never told anyone this. I always if I always say it, I couldn't do it. I don't think I could execute it. I've always said if I didn't do sports radio, I think being a chef would have been kind of cool.
I think being a chef would be really cool. I'm not qualified to be anywhere near the kitchen, but I think it'd be fantastic to be able to make things.
Well, and now what we're doing is the girlfriend and I, the SO and I watch a lot of cooking shows. I already like cooking shows, but now she's got me on Top Chef. So you watch that and it's just like the brilliance of these people, especially Under the Gun. And then they're like, I was watching one the other night. They're in Palm Springs. It was like Top Chef season 13. They're doing all of California. And they're like, yeah, no oven, no stove. You're going to use the sun. And they've got like these contraptions that are like heating up, like just some sort of like a mirrored oven grill thing. I'm like, I can barely make the steak the right way on a conventional grill. Not going to be in the middle of the desert or on a golf course. They had another competition. They're on a golf course and they're trying to cook on the freaking drink cart. Like,
no,
you're showing off.
My 10 soon to be 11-year-old loves the cooking shows. Like we're in the midst of a great food truck race. We haven't watched the final, so nobody spoil it. But she loves that, But have you seen? Do you watch Beat Bobby Flay?
Boy, I'm going to do this again. I'm not a Bobby Flay guy. I don't know. I think he annoyed me. Was he on Entourage? What was he on? I'm weird like this. Someone will go on, they'll play a role on a show, and I'm like, kind of a dick. Like, no, they were playing a role. You don't have to. But he was on something, and I was like, I don't like him that much. But I know
he might be a horse's ass. I met him once at the Super Bowl. They were taking him around, and he was doing interviews. Yeah, he seemed like a nice guy, and just to watch like that show is 2 contestants. He picks a food that 2 contestants come out and they have to make a dish with that food being the main part of the dish. Right. And then the judges, his buddies, pick who wins that. Then that person goes up against Bobby Flay, and they get to pick their signature dish, whatever they're the absolute best at.
Oh, wow.
And Bobby Flay has no idea till right before the clock starts what it is. And then he goes up against him, and he wins all the frickin' time. Going up against, these trained chefs. Yep. And they'll come in there like, I'm going with where they usually get them. My daughter's reverse engineered to Dad, they just got to go to baked goods, do desserts. They can get them on desserts.
But I love Dad. Come on, I figured this out. Dad, come on.
Why do they're going burger? He owns burgers. They can't come at him with burgers. She's strategizing. This guy's an idiot, right? Yep. But just to watch the guy, and they come up they're going to come with some kind of Cajun dish, or they're going to come with some kind of Italian dish, or whatever it is. And he there's oh, okay. And he thinks for 5 seconds, and then he's running for ingredients and cooking up a dish in 40 minutes, beating a chef that their signature dish at their restaurant he beats him with.
Yeah, it's so the how they put something together within a minute or 30 seconds. The idea is just incredible.
Or what's the one where they open the baskets?
That's Chopped. I love that one.
Oh,
the combinations are ridiculous.
It's ass.
What?
Bubble yum, pig's ass, lint, and grapes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, immediately I thought, okay, turkey. Pig's ass goes great with turkey. You get a little lint on there. They're taking the worst combinations of things. Yeah, I'm impressed.
We got all our buddies in here tonight. I'll get to your question in a second, Renee. I had Jacobs on today, by the way. Dan Jacobs is in. So he's always good for the air fryer joke. So the Top Chef air fryer edition, sure.
Yeah,
they should make him do it.
We have the air fryer. The air fryer is great. I'll tell you what, it's great. The kids will make their own chicken nuggets, man. We're soon to be, wild childs.
Yeah. Another member of the hosting crew, Allie, who's the Plus Money Honey, says lint casserole. Let's do it.
I like it, man. Tell me that there hasn't been an edition where lint has been on there.
Man, here you go. Yeah, eggs, meat, cheese, and goat placenta.
Yeah,
throw in the rhubarb at the end.
Yeah, right. Yeah. They're always it's crushed, crushed Jolly Ranchers. What? At least I've seen it enough to know that so I'm going to put in some sugar and I'm going to melt it down. That's the one thing. When they get the shit candy, what are they going to do with it? They always melt it into some kind of sauce.
Can you imagine you or I trying to melt down Jolly Ranchers?
Oh God, no!
Whatever I put it in is going to be destroyed.
Yeah, and then throw in the fact that then these guys in 20 minutes take this array of shit and they concoct it into something that you're it doesn't look half bad. And these judges nah, it's a little overcooked.
Yeah,
it's a little undercooked. I had 22 minutes. 22 minutes in a bag of ass. What did you think I was going to serve you?
Can I tell you, I got so into Chopped, and I'm such an idiot. One of the I forget which channel he works on, but he judges on a lot of shows. He's Thai and he's an Asian chef, and actually he's opening up 2 new places here. But he originally opened with Zuzu at Wynn, a guy named Jet Tila. So, by the way, someone was commenting earlier. I called the significant other of the girlfriend, and they said, "Well, here it is." Brady's like, "Have you downgraded?" No, the audience in Kansas City doesn't know what SO means that I say all the time, so I like to repeat what that actually means. But anyway. The SO went to high school with his wife, right? So I get to meet him, and for some reason, I think that he wants me to talk about the judges on Chopped, and I start telling him the judges I don't like, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, okay." I'm like, and then I realize later he does the same thing as these people. They're his friends. So I'm like, I'm shitting on. I forget the one lady's name. She's really meek, but I'm sure she's a lovely woman. And I'm like, kind of boring. And he's like, "Oh, okay." Fucking asshole. I'm like, why did I do that?
How did he respond?
This guy is the nicest.
What was your response? How'd it go?
Oh, he was just like, okay. I can see that. Meanwhile, he's like, yeah, it's my best friend. Yeah. Idiot.
Pulled me through a burning car, but that's okay. And
he's one of those guys. I don't get to meet, I meet a lot of impressive people. He's one of those people where you never really know what he does. And then they turn it on you. and they're just fascinated with what you do. And that's the way he talked to me the whole time. He's like, "Oh, sports radio, right?" And then I'm like, dude, you're gigantic.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be a dick because they're showing interest, but they just know it really is a smart thing to do, is just turn it back on someone and just be like, "You're the most fascinating person in the world."
Well, he's probably bored with talking about himself, and
you know what? That might be it too. That might be it too.
Is he a soft talker?
No, he's pretty good, man.
It's like, how's the radio going?
I know he didn't do that. No, he's a really good TV personality, really like gregarious guy. I think he's got like some Schwann's brand of his own frozen food. Like he's rich.
Sure, that's when you made it.
He's opening restaurant. I want Cofield or whatever, Stevie Schwann's shrimp or something. That'd be awesome.
I agree. It's not going to happen, but
no, it's not. It's not going to happen. Not at all. I think Schwann's is still a thing. Yeah. Real quick, I got the second vaccine today, so I'm in incredible pain right now. I don't even know how I'm doing this.
No, you're not.
No.
And it's usually, I got mine not long ago, and it took 29 hours, and then I felt like the flu was coming on for about 2 hours. Weak, kind of tired. And after about 2 hours, then I had a little residual, I was a little fatigued the rest of the late afternoon and evening. It was right when I was going on the air, 1:30 to 3:30.
Oh, that's right.
And but it wasn't bad.
Look at this. You're telling me it's 29 hours. CJ Cards fan is saying tomorrow's going to suck.
It depends. Everybody's different. Like, I've talked to a bunch of people, that had nothing. And I've talked to a couple. What'd you get?
Pfizer.
I've heard less feedback, less negative reaction with Pfizer than with Moderna. So you should be minimal tomorrow. I would expect something. I can't imagine you're any tougher than I am. So I would imagine you're going to get some kind of kick. Yeah, they told me 12 to 24 hours, and that's why I say 28, 29 hours is more. I was like, oh, good. I went through 24 hours. I got nothing. And then all of a sudden I was like, whoa, okay. Now I'm feeling it.
Oh, boy. 12 to 36 hours.
Real heroes did. I like that one.
Real heroes. All right.
Hey, real heroes take the vaccine. F&A, Cotton. All right. Do it for you. Do it for your family. Do it for your community, and do it for the country. For fuck's sake.
Positive stuff. Mark and LV says no issues with my second Pfizer shot. Tony says if you had no side effects the first time, chances are you won't the second time. All right.
I had nothing the first time and just a little bit the second time.
All right.
But it's the kind of thing like I'm not saying I wish I'd had more of a reaction, but I thought it was interesting because I was like, I knew I was fine. Like usually you get that feeling, you're like, God, this sucks. I've got shit to do. I'm going to be like asleep for 3 days. Like I'm pissed if I'm getting sick. And the one thing is not having been around hardly anybody for more than a year. I haven't been sick in a long time. And so I was kind of like, okay, let's see how this goes. Like it was a science experiment. I was like more intrigued by how I was going to feel because I knew I was fine and I was going to be fine and no worse than like the worst I heard was somebody said they went home. They felt bad for about 12 hours. They went home, slept for 13 hours. They're great. I'm like 24 hours from now, worst case, I'm going to be fine. And it was only 2 hours.
I can tell you the worst that I've heard is actually one of our podcast hosts, Willie, who does our show on Friday. Willie had COVID and he said for about a day, his Johnson & Johnson shot was worse than COVID.
I've heard that too.
Holy shit. What?
I've heard if you had COVID, the vaccine takes it out harder on you.
Really?
Yeah, it's going to be rougher if you've had it. That's what I've heard.
Wow. Yeah, that's what they told me today. Just go with the, they told me Tylenol. Is that ibuprofen or not? Ibuprofen's Advil, right? Is Tylenol acetaminophen? What is it?
Yes. Tylenol's acetaminophen. My wife told me to take a couple of Tylenol, and maybe that shortened how long I felt bad. I took some Tylenol, and I was, like I said, 2 hours later, I was feeling all like 90, 95%. And then I was 100%, a few hours later.
Drink water.
Yeah, they do say to stay hydrated.
Don't drink a lot of water. Damn it.
You should drink water. I always have a cup of water around.
I will be rubbing on some Tussin later, Brady. The cure all.
A little Tussin on it.
Little
always help.
So last thing,
sure.
there you go. Last thing to open the show with. Here we go. Pedialyte. Yeah, no, Pedialyte smart. Last thing. So I don't know. Can you see the logo? It's a little.
Italian Delight. Oh yeah.
Yeah, look at this.
Our buddy Renee's looking for a free plug, huh? Italian Delight, KCK. What did he send you?
I got hats. There's a random Bud Light in there. Must have used that as a carrier. We got a T-shirt here.
Must be nice. You know, his restaurant's in my town, and I don't even get this. There you go. There you go. Strong.
Look at that. Look at that.
There you go.
Great. I love it.
KCK in the house.
Gray T-shirt, black T-shirt. It's beautiful. Well, he knows where his bread is buttered. We got to work on our logo work, but our Monday podcast is smarter than you, and there's an Italian Delight in the corner.
There you go.
Yeah, why not? I like that logo.
It is a good logo.
Plus, I can't wait to go to Renee's shop because Renee, I've seen Renee do the pizza tossing.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, so
he's the real deal.
He's a guy's guy.
No, he can't hit for shit in softball, but he can toss a pizza.
Okay. All right. Excellent. All right. Those are my stories. I have a lot more, but those are my stories. I could tell a work story that I enjoyed, but that could be later. The SO just annihilated one of her friends. I could tell that one. That was kind of cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
angry? Serious?
She popped off. Yeah, she popped off.
Wow, that's awesome.
And she never pops off. Yeah.
Wow. Well, good to know.
Yeah. Maybe a tease for later if I remember. Chances are I will not. So where do I start? NFL draft betting? Do we start with how are things there? Because we're opening up. We are America.
Yeah, start with that.
America, come on in because we're not messing around now. We are not messing around. Yeah, so here's the deal. Our governor yesterday said in Nevada that June 1st, we're opening up 100% capacity. But with that, no social distancing, but we want you to wear the masks.
I mean,
That'll be fun to watch someone try to police that one.
The people we know in the casino business say they've done a pretty good job of policing that, but I don't want you to get a packed craps table or a packed blackjack table. How are you going to do it then? I don't know.
They have because people are mostly abiding by it. But, when you advertise, hey, 100% capacity, no social distancing, come on into town, people are going to be froggy, man. People are going to be froggy. But here's the angle. So for us, every weekend can be a giant weekend for sports or events or concerts. So June 1st opening, 100% capacity. July 10th, Garth Brooks at Raiders Stadium, probably 40,000 right down the road.
At a max capacity for a concert of what, right? 60 football game.
Does anyone know? Anyone in the chat room in Vegas? I'm not sure. I'm shooting short. I actually think they could probably get 50,000 for a concert.
Yeah, well, when you fill the floor, sometimes you can get more than what the stadium capacity is, even though you back out the back end.
60,000.
Okay. Yeah.
Is Garth actually sold over 60,000 already? Sounds like it. And you're on the floor? Hello. So how about this? Garth, 60,000, 10 weeks from now, 11 weeks from now, right? 60,000 at the stadium. Stone's throw away, like literally 2 Vegas blocks, which are big blocks, but 2 blocks away, Petro, the Fortress, T-Mobile, UFC. Dana White wants 100% capacity there because he's an anti-masker and a COVID hoaxer. 19,000 for the Conor McGregor fight. 80,000 people within 3 Las Vegas blocks.
Well, so I know Brady's answer to this. I'll ask you, because he's got tickets. He's going, right? When are you going? When are you going to a full stadium or arena? And this is not the pass judgment. Everyone's going to do what they're going to do. We're getting towards the end. The vaccines are there. I am, quite happy with that. And I'm looking forward to things getting back to normal. We've got, our fantasy football league we do in late August that we all come out to Vegas and we're discussing it. as to what we're going to do, whether or not, we're going to be ready to go by late August. Personally, I think the airlines are trying to make back everything they've lost right now, because we're scheduled to go in July to my wife's family. We put it off. It was supposed to be last year. We rolled it back a year to go down and all the families get a bunch of condos in the same building and be in Florida. And we were looking at flights that cost me $340 a head. They want $1,000 a head now.
Amazing.
Like, we'll drive. That's fine. So now we're going to go maybe see Graceland on the way down. Right. So it's fine. We'll make a driving trip of it. Well, Clark Griswold did, but like, I don't know. I think they're charging like what's normally a $200 and some odd flight to Vegas is like $450, $500.
Oof.
Yeah. So when will you go to a packed football stadium, Steve?
As a fan?
Yes. Well, as soon as you're cleared on the protocol, as soon as you're 2 weeks after your second shot, are you down for whatever?
What do you think?
I think you are. I think you've been more, a little more.
I've been more adventurous. Well, first of all, I got conditioned. We do shows at casinos like 3 days a week. So we've been out. We've done over 100 road shows, which was probably not the smartest thing to do. We got very lucky. I'm actually one, I'm not really a big event person, so which is crazy. I'm not really a stadium person. So I'm not the right person to ask on this, but
so that's funny you say that, because
the person I live with is.
Right.
So we're gonna have a battle when it comes to going to events and concerts. And I'm gonna tell you right now, and I said this on the air towards the end of the show, because we had a good call. A guy called in. He's like, he's a cabbie, and he's like, well, one of the positives, I didn't get it, but I wore the mask religiously, and one of the positives of it is I didn't get sick at all this last year. And he's like, I realized that driving a cab, you got all these strangers in the car. I was sick all the time. He's like, so I'm probably going to wear the mask like for a long time moving forward.
Yeah.
And I'm actually with him. I'm probably going to wear the mask in a lot of spots. Well, probably, but in a lot of spots where I feel like the crowd is big, and I think people might hate it and they might say stuff, but I don't care. Adam Hill actually nailed it the other day. I've always kind of been an eternal distancer. I'm not really a get inside a 6 foot distance. I don't like if you could put a camera on me and watch me at bars or bigger groups, I usually kind of unless I'm talking to someone, I usually fade to the outside of the group and kind of watch outside. I don't really like being surrounded by people.
That's one of the things that like somebody don't bother looking for, because it was a long time ago. So what bar am I going to go to? That is true. Adam wasn't looking. What bar am I going to go to? Like first time I head out. And I can tell you that wherever I do go, it will be outside.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. I'm still not, and it's not that I fear for myself, but like I have been, we're however many months into this thing now, right? 13, right? It started in March. We're in April.
Yeah.
13 months into it. I've done everything by the book now. Why would I start, going rogue at this point? Like the medical experts still say, hey, it's not over. I mean, the infection rates are going up, deaths are going up, and like that they don't know exactly what's going to happen. Can you still, you get the virus, but you don't get sick because you have your vaccine, but then you can give it to other people. And so to me, like I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I see it coming. I'm not telling everybody they got to do what I do, but for me, I'm probably going to be laying low longer than most people. And the one thing I found is like, cuts came around in our building, but like when you never go out, you save a lot of money. Like, I don't know, like, you get a check, you go out with people and wherever, maybe it's fairly nice or something, and you get $60 and like, you get into that mindset because you pick up some drinks for some people or whatever, maybe there's a bite to eat and you're like, that's nothing. Like, okay, $12, $13, tip, whatever. And you throw it on there, you're 70 some odd dollars, and you bring those receipts home. You're like, yeah, whatever. That's just the cost of Friday nights. I'm gonna be a cheap bastard. Like I have enjoyed the money.
Really?
I have saved.
Wow, that is a big change for you, because you're an incredibly generous person, and I know you like being out at bars and you like being in groups. So that's a big change. That's a big sacrifice.
It's not that I don't want the group, but I think I'll bring the group to my house. Yes. Like all the drinks will still be on me. right? But like, I don't know that I want to give a bar a 500% markup.
So that kind of hit you the last 14 months. Huh? It's kind of
Yeah,
amazing.
I mean, I started looking at it. I was like, when you start to be an old fart, and listen, I got a long time to work, but like, I'm at least old enough to where you're thinking like, where's the finish line? What do I need to get to the finish line? And I'm like, I'll tell you one of the things that would help. Shit, not paying a 700% markup on this, on a beer, Coronas, or you go some places like if I look at a menu and it says like 550 for a Corona, I'm gonna shit my pants.
Oh wow, look at you. I'll give you a good example. So it was warm enough here this last weekend, and I have like no cover in my backyard. So the pool we have, a little pool, gets pretty warm, right? I heated it up a little bit, so it was nice. It was like 80, 81, 82 degrees. So
that's not cheap, by the way. Heating up those pools.
And
our buddy JB pisses and moans about turning the heater on at any point.
Well, but his pool's a nightmare because his never gets above like 72. Like once mine gets pretty warm, then it's actually out of control the other way. Like I have trouble keeping it cool. Like during the summer it'll be like 87 degrees. It's like a bath
water, yeah.
So we went out Sunday. We went out. SO and I we were hanging out. We had, I don't know, a bunch of whatever beers. And by the way, on a broken ankle, so this was smart. She's still recovering. So we go out. We're in the backyard. We're having beers. We're having some whatever the seltzers, right? And on Friday night we were at a liquor store, and I was like, you know what? I never get whiskey, but we were sipping like 6 months ago. We're at a bar, rare time at a bar, and I really like that peanut butter whiskey. Right? There's a Screwball peanut butter whiskey.
Yeah. I was the one who turned you on to that. David Wells gave it to me at the American Century Championship in Tahoe. Gave me the bottle he'd been swigging around the course. Gave me his half a bottle. Although don't bring it up to him. Apparently he had a falling out.
Oh shit!
He was pushing it hard 2 years ago or 3 years ago in Tahoe at the American Century Championships. But apparently he had a falling out with the guy who was like his buddy who had the restaurant who came up with it. Anyway.
So we bought a bottle. It's like we actually got an off-brand. It was like I don't know, Little Squirrel peanut butter whiskey.
Yeah, no, that's actually that's on my bar right now. Yeah, I take great pride in the bottles on my bar.
It was good.
That's a Jim Beam product. It's good. They did a really good job.
Same brand, Brady? Is it which one? The Squirrel or the what's the other one? What did I say? Screwball.
Screwball was the original.
Right. Now this one was like Squirrel.
Yeah, no, the Squirrel one I think is from the Jim Beam company.
So whatever, we weren't really shooting it. We were doing shot glasses of it, and just kind of sipping. But we wound up doing 5 shots a piece, so 10 shots of it, right, throughout the day, maybe like 3 hours. And I was like, oh, half the bottle's left, and I'm like, oh, that was $9. That was $9 because the bottle was 18. So whatever, with tax, it was whatever, 19 and change.
That was at your house.
That was $9.75 for 10 shots at my house.
Yeah. Yes. Like,
that would have been at a local bar in Vegas. We know a lot of bartenders, so we'll get some breaks on stuff. But I mean, if we go to a local bar, that's a minimum $7 shot. So that was 10 shots at $70. It was $9.75.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, listen, that's the wake up call. Right, I'm sure I'll be signing some tab for $200 and some odd dollars. At the next time we get together for baseball or something. You're like, yeah, what happened to that staying at home and drinking at your house shit? I'm sure like eventually I'll get back into the rhythm of things. But I mean, it is amazing, right? It like we'll never forget this period of time. I tell my kids to pay attention to what's going on, because it's an unbelievable time in your life. And it's one that, your kids and grandkids are going to be like, what happened? I mean, we hope it's another 100 years, right? At least until this happens again. Doesn't become a, every 10 year, shit fest. So I've tried to take notice because I know, like I always talk about how, doing our time covering sports, I call it my watch, right? It's my watch. I want every record to break. I want, every Kansas, KC team. I need Mizzou and K-State to go to the Final Four and win a national championship in basketball, and all of them to get good in football and make it happen in football. I want to cover everything I possibly can. I'm getting to cover a franchise Hall of Fame caliber quarterback now, and the Chiefs have won a Super Bowl on my watch. The Royals have won a World Series. I'm truly thrilled at all the things that I've gotten to talk about and discuss and break down and cover. And so I've tried to take this moment in time and say, okay, let's I need to let's take a look at what all is going on. Don't forget it, right? Those who don't study history are doomed to repeat it. So pay attention to what's going on. And so I have kind of looked at like, what do we do? And then I've been grinding away at taxes for the last 4 days. And you're like for me, it's these rolling spreadsheets, right? Okay, here's 17, then 18, then 19, then 20. And I'm like, oh, wow, look at these numbers. Oh, shit, that's different. Yeah, how much I saved in travel. Travel I enjoy. I don't enjoy the flying part of it, not the flight, just the bullshit that comes with flying. But, you look at it, you're like, wow, look, I spent that at this hotel. Here's my Airbnb charges. Here's my, hotel. Here's my, rental car. I'm like, oh, geez.
But with all this, don't you think there's a flip side to it where you're like, I just missed out on 14 months. So now I really have an appreciation for a good dinner. Like I like someone in here saying about looking at a restaurant menu and going, yeah, I'll skip on it and cook at home. I like the steak I made tonight was okay. Now, I guess the cost, if that cost me $52 at a restaurant, I got to kind of weigh that. But I think the experience of going to good restaurants might be worth it coming out of this. And also the vacation thing. I'm actually on the opposite side. I'm not a big vacation person, but now after 14 months, I'm like, and I'm getting old and fat, and I'm seeing, there's also the sobering effect of seeing like a bunch of 50-year-olds die. Not to get all deep on, but I'm like, I'm taking vacations, man. So it's time. So I don't know. I think everyone's going to approach it a little bit differently.
I like vacations. I like to travel. I like getting to where I'm going. The process of getting there sucks. Like I've had the privilege of flying on a private plane once in my life, half a leg, and it was the greatest thing ever. I'm like, if I get it. Like I was like, this is unreal. It took like a 14-hour, like door to door from like the hotel to my house would have been 14 hours from Tahoe. I was coming back from Tahoe because I had a rental car down through Carson City to Reno, jerk around with that, sit around the thing, plane down to Vegas, change planes, Vegas to Kansas City, KCI out. Instead, I was like to the downtown airport. I was like, I got off. I could barely get a text sent before I got out of the car and we were airborne. I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. Like, holy shit. And ever since then, like every moment of real person travel, I'm just like, God. Remember that one time in my life where I lucked into a spot like, oh shit, man.
Dude,
but I still like getting there.
I mean, the travel part of it, I got a little spoiled a couple of years ago for a couple of years. Listen, UNLV is not the best product ever, and they don't win consistently enough. But doing charters on football and basketball games and flying to godforsaken places, but walking onto the plane on the runway to and from is like it's unreal. So I mean, I only get like a tiny listen, I'm on a small plane with like 40 people. I can only imagine being in the economic strata where you never get on a real plane and you just walk onto the plane like it's a car. You land wherever you want, whatever small city has an airport. It's unbelievable.
Let me tell you something. This guy has obviously a lot of money. He owns 2 planes. Okay. And he literally, the way it was put to me was, do you want a ride home?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean from like the golf course to where I'm staying at the hotel? No. Do you want to ride home to Kansas City?
All the way back.
I was like, yes.
No.
And I was like, okay. Well, yeah. Someone told the story. I've never said that, but yeah, you're in the ballpark. You're pretty strong there with that one. But I mean, couldn't be a nicer guy, by the way. And like literally, and he's a fascinating individual, by the way. And talking to him the whole way, I enjoyed the conversation because when else do you get to talk to a super successful person? Like I was sitting opposite. Was I opposite him or a caddy corner? Anyway, he and his wife, I think, were this side and I was on that side. But just like I wanted to, like in some ways, I wanted to just sit and look around the plane the whole time. Right, 8 seats, and in other ways, had food and drinks and everything all ready to go. And in other ways, I wanted to, I love the conversation, and I also loved like just like, oh man, look at this. Oh God, everything's so nice. And when we came in, we flew over KCI, the big airport. We flew over that to the downtown airport, and you come in low, and it's kind of spooky. You're like, planes are taking off,
Yeah.
right? But they're going under you and out, and you come right over the top of it to where the KCI, the downtown airport is, where all the private jets land. And like, I probably shouldn't say it, but he's like, go look out the front. Go look out the front. So like I unbuckle. He's like, yeah, see the view. It's cool. I'll run up there to take a look and everything. Yeah, I mean, literally, you took that's. And I made my wife and kids come pick me up. Like, this is the only time your father is going to get off one of these planes like it's a freaking movie. So you will have your asses down there and see your father waddle down the stairs of this private plane.
I love Brady's fascination. Like, what's the name? I need a name. It's great.
It was somebody else said it. But peach of a guy. I can't speak highly enough about it. Little, you want to ride home?
No. Okay.
Yeah.
My upcoming vacation list is not anything sexy, so I would love to get to Mexico again because I like the all-inclusive places. We were supposed to do that.
Mexico, have you done the west side? I've never done the Pacific side. I've always been down at Playa del Carmen, and
that's where we were going last year. We had a plan to go in June. We had it all booked up, and we didn't get to go. But before that, we went to Cabo a couple times, and Adam Hill, the aforementioned Adam Hill, who's my co-host most of the time on Cofield and Company, he's become like a Mexico devotee, and I'm not talking Tijuana. That's a whole different era. Yeah. We're talking like Cancun and Playa. He and his friend, he and like 6 or 8 or 10 of his friends go down. I think they go down like 3 times a year now.
Well, from Vegas, it's probably what, a $400 flight.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. Cabo's free. Cabo's like it's ridiculous how inexpensive, especially if it's an off time, how inexpensive it is.
And Cabo's the one on the Pacific side, right?
Yeah.
I want to go there. That's where I really want to go. I want to take the kids. My kids have never been outside the country. Yeah, I was trying to think. So,
but Cabo's more about the resort than actually going in the water because a lot of places in Cabo, it's so rough.
That's what I heard. I heard the water's rough, but my kids have been.
There's a little bay, in the main area. You can go in there, and it's nice. But if you're staying at one of the all inclusive, you really can't go in the water. But the all inclusive resorts are fantastic. There's so many freaking pools, and if you like to drink, it's ridiculous.
I'll give a tip. My tip would be if you ever. I'm a huge Hawaii fan, like Maui. Uh-huh. I like going to the Maui Invitational. It's a great time.
Yeah.
To go because the reason they have the tournament is that's when no one's there. And so I would highly recommend if your school ever plays in the Maui Invitational, go.
I went to Maui
fly home on Thanksgiving because the flights are cheap.
I went to Maui for a wedding and we thought it was okay, but we're late night people and Maui closes really like
everywhere but Honolulu closes. Wherever Maui closes, Kauai closes even earlier.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's nice. It's beautiful.
But all you got to do, to me, just shift gears, right? Like me and Archie, so my wife and I and our buddy Archie and his wife went in 2013 when Syracuse played. Last time they played out there, and we quickly realized, wait a minute, you're shutting everything down. It's like 10:30, right? So start earlier, Steve. Like, don't do the Vegas go out at midnight shit. A little day drinking on vacation, you can't handle.
Very tough. It's very tough to change your natural clock. We're late night people. I know,
but it is late night there for you. If you don't change your clock, it'll feel like it's late night. Even for you, it's a 2 or 3 hour difference.
And we might be able to do it. We got a lot of beautiful places we have to go to this year, like LA on multiple occasions, and we have to hit the Jersey Shore, which we are doing.
Where did in Maui did you go?
I think you just named it. Whatever it is, Kauai, right down the road from Lahaina.
No, Kauai is a different island.
Oh, it's on the okay.
What's the Kanapali? You went to Kanapali.
Kanapali. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. That's the place to go. It's great. It's fantastic.
It was good. We had fun, and we found some good places to eat and whatever that golf course is.
A hotel or a condo?
We stayed at a hotel. So we stayed.
My advice would be do the condo.
Okay.
Right, because the food is so expensive, and the drinks are expensive. Yeah. So you hit the grocery store, and you load up and you do your own breakfast and snacks, maybe even your lunch. I'm not as much of a cheap ass as I am sounding on this.
Right.
Steve can attest to. I'm not as cheap
not.
as I sound like. But what we do is get nice dinners and sometimes lunch. But you go, get a bottle of whatever your favorite stuff is, or some wine if you like wine, or a bunch of beers. We get beers and a bottle of maybe some Jim Beam Black or something, and then you make your drinks and you got everything you need.
We are going multiple times to the Valley in California, LA, the Valley. There's lots of valleys, but the Valley. And then I shit you not, August, there is going to be a trip. There is going to be a trip to, no, he doesn't. We are going to do the Jersey Shore, like literally where the Jersey Shore show, the original one, was filmed.
That's
my parents live right there now.
It's pathetic and sad.
It's not, but it's not, because
you're seeing your parents. I know.
Well, my parents are 100, right? They're not, but my girlfriend also has never really been to the East Coast, so she's never seen New York City. I took her one time. We went up and down the Jersey Shore, so for her it's cool. Philly, I have a brother who lives in Philly, so it'll be a good East Coast trip.
Put up Brady's Patrick Goes on Vacation. True story. So I get up. I don't sleep much. Right. Period. End of discussion.
He doesn't.
So I'm up before the family is up, right, in Maui. And so, no joke, you can go to the McDonald's in Maui and you got to try it. The breakfast you can get there, you can get scrambled eggs, rice, and your choice of
what's the sausage?
Norwegian sausage, I think, or is it New Zealand sausage? Norwegian, but also Spam is an option.
Yep.
You got to get it. Some soy sauce that's served at McDonald's. And so, yes, I am that cheap ass who drives up solo and is reading shit on my phone at the McDonald's. And it's right there in Lahaina. I can tell you where it is, how to get there.
That's awesome.
It's like you can get that's one of their Spams, like big, being a military, hotspot, like Spam, scrambled eggs and rice, or you get I think it's Norwegian sausage, scrambled eggs and rice. It's not bad. You put the soy sauce on. Yeah.
Nice.
My buddy Amy, we went a couple of families. My buddy Jason's wife, Amy, she and I were the only ones that we went all out. We're like, all right, let's do it. Win in Rome. Let's make it happen. I was like, yeah, not bad.
So back to what we started this whole thing with, kind of, coming out as the things open up. Those Vegas events with 20,000 inside for a fight and 60,000 for a concert. Are you like 2022 for that, or would you ever do that this year?
I think 22. I mean, I would do it this year if when they say, when medical experts say go do it, I'll do it. But I feel like I've been. Thank you very much. I feel like, I've come this far. What am I gonna like? Why wouldn't I? Take it all the way to the end.
I get it.
And I'm kind of like you. I'm like, I don't know that I need. I mean, I've lived without it. I do miss the idea of taking a vacation. I don't know that I miss, that's kind of like travel. It's such a pain in the ass to get into things now. The security.
You gotta admit, though, and I think we have to be careful as sports people. Like, we are desensitized. We do get to go to a lot of events, and because I get reminded of it with my girlfriend all the time. Like, it doesn't matter to me if I go to Vegas Golden Knights games as a fan, but she really likes going because she doesn't get to go anytime she wants.
Right. So, 100%. I agree. And listen, part of it is there is an element of been there and done that. I mean, I was knocking off 60 Royals games a year, with a press pass. But then, generally speaking, there's somebody I know that's there, Renee, hey, you're going to come down and say hi, whatnot. So I get a couple innings in the stands or whatever. So, I mean, yes, 100%. Jaded, spoiled, buy it, yes. I also had season tickets to the Royals for a little bit. I had Chiefs forever. And so there is an element of hey, I don't know that I'm going to slug it out. The Chiefs, and listen, there's probably going to be somebody who's going to flip on this. I'm in and out of there in 5 minutes. Bullshit, one. And two, then you live next door to the stadium. It sucks getting in and out of Arrowhead these days.
You know what? That is a big difference too. Like I get on people here in Vegas because they're like the traffic now. I'm like, we have nothing here. Do you know what people have to go through to go to freaking games and stadiums in other cities? How far away the stadium is? Our arena is right in the middle of the strip. Our stadium is at the
Which is
one.
for people who aren't
Yeah,
familiar with
yeah.
Vegas, is right in the middle of town.
Las Vegas, yeah, Las Vegas. The strip is right in the middle of town. There's really nowhere in Las Vegas that's any more than like maybe 45 minutes drive in each direction. The arena is right in the center of the strip, right behind a couple of hotels. The stadium they built right on the end of the strip, right across from Mandalay Bay on the south end. We've got like 8 other arenas that hold 5,000 or more. They're all in that concentrated area. But listen, traffic has gotten a little worse, but you can find enough local streets. You can get in and out and get the hell out of there quickly.
You know, one of the things I want to do, I want to come out to Vegas, and it might not be till like I've got this bucket list of things I want to do when I retire. Like I want to see the Masters, U.S. Open, British Open, and PGA Championships in person. Right? I want to see Wimbledon, French Open, Australian Open, and the U.S. Open in person. Right? I want to see the Monaco Grand Prix, the U.S. Grand Prix as well. But I want to see the Monaco Grand Prix.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see what is the iconic sporting event of everything, right? I've taken up, over the last like 5 years or so, or a few years, I've taken up Chelsea as my, EPL team. I want to see a Chelsea match playing at home, and I want to see them on the road, right? I can't say I can't go all the way to Dortmund.
Would you ever do a college football game every year, like a giant college football rivalry game every year?
Yeah, I would. A buddy of mine, Todd Lieba, who I work with, he did. Now they've stopped, but him and his buddies did that for like 30 years.
Really?
They did one major college football game, and they would go every single year. One year they went to Harvard, Yale. He's been to Alabama. He's been to the Grove in Mississippi. He's been, he went to OU, so he has an appreciation for good college football. And so, yeah, he did it. That's what I want to do. I want to hit those trips, but I want to like hit some of the global ones as well. Like I love the Australian Open in tennis. I love watching tennis into the wee hours, just because but I don't watch any other events other than the 4 Grand Slams, and I don't watch golf really other than the 4 majors. But like I watched hours and hours and hours of Masters. I want to go to the Masters and see the Masters, right? I want to do that. So like from that standpoint, yes, I want to do all of those events. And so I absolutely want to be around. And one of the things I really want to see, I would not go to New Zealand because Kirky tells me New Zealand sucks. And he's been to New Zealand. He's been to like 200 countries, not 200, been to 50, 60 countries. Yeah. I mean, maybe if I find out that it's a big deal, if I get into cricket, yes, then I want to go see that. But you know what I do want to do? Like, I think one of the coolest things is how Vegas has like 5 college basketball tournaments all going on at once. Like, what do you have? Mountain West, Pac-12, WAC, West Coast.
Yeah.
Is it just 4 or is there another one?
I think it's just 4. No, Big West has been doing it in Anaheim last couple of years. Well, I don't know what they did last year, but before that.
I think that's got to be an awesome time to just go from building to building.
Like, I actually still think it's topped by the first weekend of the NCAA tournament.
Oh, I love that.
It's unbelievable here, and especially because they've built some new venues. Like Circa's incredible, and we're just. I mean, our books are just going to be with gambling growing across the country. It's just going to get crazier. Oh, and the WAC. Did we mention the WAC?
Here's the deal. I remember I was out there. I think Sweet 16 weekend's the only thing I've done tournament wise. I mean, I've lived out there during the tournament, but like, I don't want to get someplace at 5 a.m. to sit for 7 hours to have my seat. Like, no. Can I pay somebody and have a seat? I'll pay more to have my seat waiting for me, and so an hour before the game I'll show up. But like,
I mean,
9 a.m. I'm not getting there at 5 a.m. to squat on seats in the sports book.
I don't have many connections, but I have connections in the sportsbook industry. I can get you in a party room, and we can sit there the whole time.
But are we just in a room with us, or are we
strippers?
Are we with the people, Steve?
Yeah, with fans. Yeah, it's fans, and there's betting kiosks right there. The windows are right there. Yeah, okay. Everyone's reacting. There's TVs all over the place. Yeah, it's awesome.
Then I want to come out. Olympics, absolute. Raphael said Olympics. Yes, I definitely want to go to Summer and Winter Olympics, 100%. Yes, I want to hit every. Yeah, I won't make it. I'll die trying, but I would love to go to every single sport. You understand? I live with 3 women who couldn't give a shit about sports.
That's funny.
Like, dad's job is a joke.
Yep.
Right? Like, when I'm like, hey, this is a big game. They're like, whatever. Chopped on. We got to put on Chopped. Like, let's go. Like, so yeah, I would like to take in some sporting events. Being that I get, you know, my kids will throw me the token, watch 5 minutes. I will say this, one of the greatest experiences I've had was, and I'm glad I did it, I flew home from the Super Bowl in 2019, covered the Chiefs all week, flew home late Friday night, and watched it with all the guys that I'd watched the Super Bowl with. One of them's on here. Watched it with all the guys I watched the Super Bowl, watched the Chiefs with all that year, and some extra friends came over. And my wife and kids actually watched a whole football game. They watched the Super Bowl, and that was as good as it gets. Right? I do want to see the Chiefs play in a Super Bowl in person at some point. But that was an incredible experience that I'll never forget to have. Because you know, and I'm not going to make them watch the game. I don't care. But it was just fun. They knew it was a big event. They watched the whole time. It was really cool.
Go to a taping of Chopped. That'd be so awesome.
Can't get into Chop, but you can get into Beat Bobby Flay.
Okay. All right. Now we got to look into that. Go to TV show tapings. What's more interesting to you? Some NFL free agency breakdown or betting on the NFL draft?
I don't care. We're 56 minutes in and we haven't done shit's worth of what we put a list together for. So
what happens?
I'll leave it to you.
I'm fascinated.
I've enjoyed tonight. I don't know if anybody else has.
Oh, yeah. It's good with me. I'm fascinated by the over under on players. You can bet on players individually. Because there's so many big name players in this, and I mean, I could probably have 50 props on the draft if I don't like watch myself.
So my buddy Eric Eager was on today from Pro Football Focus.
Yeah. Oh, did he tell you a story about driving around?
No.
This weekend?
No.
Oh, he was on with us a couple days ago because he comes on with us as well, and I think this is awesome because it's actually we had 2 stories about this week. So he's in Ohio. He so wanted to get he so wanted to get down on, and it is important that it's Cincinnati.
Oh, he drives across the state line.
He so wants to get down on Justin Fields' value because I think he said, I forget what number he got. He got an incredible number on Zach Wilson, and it's like it's in, so he's got house money to play with, and so he wants to get the value if Justin Fields actually does go 3 to the Niners. So he drove to bet it in Indiana, and then maybe another day he drove to Pennsylvania to go bet it. I think that is so awesome. And then that was followed up. That was a Monday spot. We got a guy, Sam, who's on with us, who's a gambling expert for Nesson. Sam's from Chicago. He was here in Vegas. Now he's with Nesson. And he was talking about the experience because nowhere in New England, well, actually, New Hampshire you can bet, and Rhode Island. And he was talking about going down to Rhode Island to get down. I can't remember what he got down on, but he was driving to Rhode Island like 90 minutes to go bet there, which I just find fascinating because I've been here for 26 years. And I can't even imagine this whole thing where there's some states that can do it, some can't. It's just so dumb.
I told you, when I got there to Vegas, when I moved there in 96, and I was betting football games, it lasted 2 weeks, and I'm like, bullshit. I'm betting with my bookie back home. I'm not standing in line. I'm not driving to brick and mortar locations, which is why I think the future of sports betting is all on your phone, right? That's going to be where it's at. And I think everybody's ultimately going to succumb to that. But yeah, Eager, what is that? Is that your okay? Devonta Smith draft prop.
Yeah, keep going.
Eager doesn't have a guy, and maybe it's because he's got to do everything legal because he's a Pro Football Focus guy and he's kind of high profile. I don't know that people understand everything about Pro Football Focus, but they are employed by NFL teams. So when Eric talks, he has spoken to the higher ups of numerous teams. He is not throwing darts. I actually. I probably shouldn't say this, but I think they walk a tightrope of, not you could promote hey, like they're a bigger deal. Like they're a big deal, clearly, but they're a bigger deal than anybody realizes
Yep.
in the football game. And Eric and George Cheruri, his partner on the PFF forecast, they're a lot bigger deal than you would realize. You think they're just a couple of, math nerds that are like, they actually are defining how the game is played and how things are done a lot more than people realize. Trust me, have Eric stay at your house for an AFC Championship game weekend and watch him and his computer, go at it the whole time they're there, and you'll understand like the level of stuff that he's doing. So I am always – he was on today, and he's great to talk about. Yeah, he would set up with us his regular hit he would do during the week, during the season. He would drive across the state line because that's how he'd kill his time with us, was like driving to go put his bets in.
I love it. Love it.
So he loves Fields. No, we didn't get into that. We talked running back, like how I think the running backs have become undervalued. Like they've always been grossly overvalued, but now 1 year, $1 million for Giovanni Bernard to the Bucks. Like, Jesus, like, come on.
I know.
Chiefs, step in, like get Giovanni Bernard.
Dude, we
hit $1.75 million for James Conner when the Raiders are giving 2 for $11.
Yep.
Kenyon Drake, anyway. So we talked about that, but so he loves Fields 3.
Well, I think he loves the value because Mac Jones got as high as I don't know what his highest was, but I know as of like Sunday or Monday, Mac Jones was minus 250 to go 3, and Justin Fields was plus 225.
So he just likes he's a big.
So I got down on Fields at plus 225 because I don't know. To me, it's a great story. If Shanahan's brilliant, I think Lynch is okay, but I think Shanahan's brilliant, and I will be shocked if he takes Mac Jones. I just think it's one of the dumber things we've seen in recent history. So I'm going to bet that they're playing a game with us. You can also bet, because the 4's in play, we don't know what's going to happen with the Falcons, what they're going to do. They could trade out, and someone could get all crazy and want to get a quarterback. You can bet over under the 4.5 pick on Fields, and that's basically even money. So under means he goes at 3 or 4. That's minus 105. So you get 2 chances with Justin Fields in that case. Or who knows? Maybe he slips. But I'm willing to set up the drama. I like it.
Can we agree that one of these 5 are going to slide?
Yes. Yeah.
And can we predict it? Like one of them's going outside the top 10 for sure.
I think it's Mac Jones. I don't believe this. I think these are smoke screens.
I told you during the season, I'm impressed with Mac Jones. I mean, we're going to see what I know about quarterbacks. Like I was not all in on Justin Herbert, for full disclosure. And I still think we've seen, Carson Wentz looked like God's gift to quarterbacking when he first got going, and he's regressed. So I'm not ready to wave the checkered flag on anybody until they've had like 3 solid years. But I think Mac Jones moves his feet in the pocket well, keeps his eyes downfield, and I think that's a big one. He is hard to evaluate, and I've talked to a number of scouts that'll tell you Alabama guys are difficult because everyone around them is winning their one-on-one battles, and so it's difficult to evaluate them sometimes. But I do think that his accuracy was really good. I know he had great receivers, but he put the ball where they could go get it. And everybody pretty much has really good receivers in the NFL. Right? So, you have to be able to put it where they can go get it, and he did that consistently. So I'm higher on Mac Jones than most, but I do think there's a reality of the modern game, you really got to have some escapability. And I don't know if he's got enough. I think he does shuffle around in the pocket well, but can he play the Tom Brady, Peyton Manning game, the guy who used to be athletic, who's now old, and, Aaron Rodgers, 37-year-old game? How long can he play that? I think pretty good. I do think that is one of the intriguing things. Are they smoke screening it at Mac Jones pro day because who they really want is Fields and they don't want to give it up? I mean, that's a classic Mike Shanahan thing. Mike Shanahan, every first-round pick they took year after year after year, I know when the Chiefs were chasing him, he would not be at their pro day. Like they took, Delta O'Neal was a corner that the Chiefs really coveted, and they got him like a pick or 2 in front of the Chiefs. They weren't at his pro day. They didn't interview him at the combine, and they didn't bring him in for an interview. That was a Mike Shanahan thing. So I think you're definitely on to something on how mean, that's how Kyle Shanahan was brought up on the game. So I will not be shocked. I won't be shocked if they do Trey Lance.
Okay. Kyle Pitts over under 5.5.
Don't you think he goes 4? Don't you think everybody moves up for him at 4?
I think it might happen. I'm just so
to Atlanta or whoever
Atlanta
moves out with.
I'm just so anti tight end in the top 10 that I can't get past it.
I am too, because Travis Kelce was in the 3rd round.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the guys that are the uber athletes, I do think everybody is getting better at the draft, though. I do think they learn from mistakes. I don't like going up that high, but I think I have seen what I think there's an argument to be made that the second most important player on the Chiefs is Travis Kelce.
Right. But what I think is happening is we all want Kittle or Kelce or Darren Waller, and I think we're forgetting like what unicorns they are. They're incredible. For every guy that succeeds like that, then there's also freaking Vernon Davis, who's, a workout warrior and then just can't stay healthy. Or there's, I don't want to kill
just average.
I don't want to kill Hawkinson because he actually he bounced back a little bit last year. So did Fant, but they're still they're at 60 catches, 680 yards. Like those guys, I mean, come on, the numbers those guys are putting up, and maybe Pitts can do it.
Who's throwing to those guys?
It's a good point. That doesn't help. So do you think there's going to be is Hawkinson worth a lot more now with Goff? Is Goff any kind of an upgrade?
No,
Stafford's not good enough to get Hawkinson the ball 75 times?
I push Stafford's he just needs the right guys around him shit for a long time. And I've heard enough. I've heard from some people that Stafford's very weak-minded.
Really?
Can't take hard coaching. He can't take, this is what you need to do. And so we'll see how he does with the Rams. The Rams think they're the Tampa Bay Rays of football right now. I love his arm. I love his talent. I interviewed him before he got drafted at the Super Bowl, and he was a great kid to talk to. His dad was a lot of fun to talk to. He's a really nice guy. So I don't have anything against the man, but he's more Jeff George than he is Patrick Mahomes. For all the arm talent, it hasn't resulted in wins, and at some point that shit's on you, man. I will say this. Here's one of the things that I think is going to be a phenomenon. If there was something to take a page out of, the Chiefs, been to 2 Super Bowls, won one of them, and they did it with Patrick Mahomes, is they had, and forget about the off the field part, but this did play a part in why they signed Sammy Watkins. I believe part of the reason why they signed Sammy Watkins for as much as they did is they wanted a speed guy to take the top off the defense, because Tyreek Hill's issues had not happened, but the girlfriend had moved back in. And I think the team went, oh, shit. This is a recipe for disaster. We need an insurance plan, because this could go really south. And it almost did. I mean, in some ways it did because of all the negativity. In the end, he was proven, to have not – the allegations, the accusations against him were not – whatever. I'm not going to re-adjudicate that. But those of us here in Kansas City, we spent hours and hours and hours talking about it and what happened. But he was brought back into the child's life before she was. There's a lot of things in it. Anyway, bottom line is, but they went out and got Sammy Watkins along with Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and they had 2 expensive tackles because they said, all right, we're going all in on this quarterback. We're not going to send him out there naked. We'll put him out there with the number 31 defense. But when he gets the ball, we're going to make shit happen. And we're going to find out what this kid is early, and we're going to get him every possible opportunity for success. And I think that is the blueprint that every team should follow when they go after a quarterback. Don't send him out there like the Jets. Don't send him out there with a bunch of turds.
Right.
Like, why aren't you lifting us up? Now, I think once they're established and have the confidence, they can carry lesser players. But build that confidence up. Make sure you got a rock star at quarterback first. And that means giving them, guys to throw to and guys to protect him.
I'm telling you, I'm looking at just the William Hill board of over-unders for players, where they're going to go.
Let's see what you got.
I am so fired up with the collection because this is completely playing to what I believe happens every year.
I like Lawrence over like 8.5. If I say over, does that mean he goes 9, 10, 11, or does that mean he goes 7?
Over is after 8.5, so 9, 10, 11.
Under. I'll go under 8.5
means,
on Lawrence.
Okay, well you're not going to get that number. If actually under 8.5 is minus infinity, so you're not going to get.
I would lay the infinity.
The way the board sets up right now for the player props is such a reflection of what happens on TV, because all we get on the draft shows, especially ESPN, it's a TV show. So they're going to talk about the quarterbacks, the running backs, the glamour tight end, the wide receivers. And when I watch the draft, you know what? Some of the teams in the top 10 that are there every year, they're stupid. So they draft the same way every year, and they reach on wide receivers, and they make bad picks. As it moves along, the good teams in the NFL build through the draft at what positions? It's generally offensive line, it's cornerback, it's defensive line. And those positions, for some reason, don't get glamorized before the draft. And then you turn on and you're like, oh, my God, this wide receiver's slipping. Like, no, that wide receiver was never going 8th. They were always going to go in the 20s or in the second round.
I think wide receivers are immensely important, but they're the second most bustable pick after a quarterback. So that's the problem, right? Like the Chiefs, one of the things, if people look back at the Chiefs, the team I cover, they're going to be like, Tyreek Hill in the 5th. Like, you know what a big part of their success was? They got a dynamic top off the defense, hand him the ball in the backfield, freak show. I mean, there's a guy who barely played receiver in college, and came out and was this kind of guy. I mean, give him credit. They drafted him. They stuck with him. They took a lot of fire on 2 different occasions, drafting him, and then through his issues with the mother of his a couple of his kids, 3 of his kids, twins and his son. But that happens. That's not the blueprint. Go find 5th round wideout to be maybe the biggest playmaker in football. Right?
Over on Devontae Smith, 11.5 is the number.
Oh, way over. Way over. Maybe what do I get for over? What's the line?
Ready? The under is shaded to minus 155. The over is plus 135.
All of it over. All of it over. No way.
Yep.
That's the guy who slides. He's 150 pounds. What did he run? Has he run yet?
I don't know.
Because I haven't seen any talk about it, which makes me think he didn't run the 40 at the pro day. Yeah. 150 pounds and not going to flash your speed? No. And he's not Tim Brown. Like, was he returning kicks and running through arm tackles everywhere? Like Tim Brown slid on draft day and then proved to be a great receiver. Is he running through? No.
Yeah. Heath always nice enough to jump in late night. Heath does radio in South Carolina. Columbia, right, Heath?
No way. I'm with you.
Kuiper has Devontae Smith at 8, cornerback, offensive tackle. But, well, I think Mel goes shiny thing. Mel is a TV guy. He's playing TV show. And I also think he does favors for agents here and there. But, this is like, it would be like having Stephen A. Smith like really into the NBA draft, and like Stephen A. would pick a draft that's with the storyline. So the offensive storylines are much more interesting than the second offensive tackle going off the board at 12.
All right, 2 things. One, Mel Kiper stuck to his guns for 3 years on Allen with the Bills, and it came to fruition.
Okay.
So I will give him credit on that. And got into a pissing match. Like, had some people firing at him. Like, well, you're the one who said Allen. He said, yeah, he is going to be a good quarterback. Said that like in his second year. Right. And so I give the guy props on that. The other thing is, I don't know that it's Mel as much as the people around him. Like, I've been bitching about this. The show Get Up, the morning show. We've talked about it. I think Mike Greenberg's talented. They throw a billion resources at it. I talked to some friends of mine at ESPN. I said, who is the jackass that has them just talking for 2 hours every morning about the top 5 quarterbacks?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, maybe it's me because Patrick Mahomes is in Kansas City. They're not going to take a quarterback. But it bores me to freaking tears. It's the same show every single day. And I'm not so sure that the producers or they have become just low-hanging fruit and not understood the value of being able to dig deep, find new subject matter, or they're getting their ass handed to them by Good Morning Football. So they're trying to out football them, but there's more. You can talk about those quarterbacks and not just be like, the 49ers gave up a lot to go to 3 every day. So I'm not so sure that the ESPN's draft coverage isn't the guys behind the scenes saying, well, all right, we're going to talk about this. Like Mel Kiper, if you listen to his radio show on Saturdays and Sundays, Saturdays it is, I think, because I've gone on with them a number of times when they have Kansas City stuff. But I'll be sitting doing my work. And back in the old days, I'd be sitting at a restaurant doing my work on Saturdays. I'd get out of the house to try to get some things done. And I listen to Dari and Mel all the time. And Mel will go hardcore on anything on that radio show. Mel on the radio show is way better than Mel on TV. And I don't think it's Mel's fault on TV. I think it's where they take the subject matter. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They don't let him stretch his legs.
Jamar Chase, 6.5. Right now, inside of 6 is Atlanta, Cincy, Philly, then Detroit at 7, Carolina 8, Denver, Dallas. Over under 6.5. Is he going to go inside the 6th pick or 7th on down?
I think it's between Chase and Waddle. I've had one scout tell me there's only one guy with explosion, and it's Waddle. So, and I said, well, that's what they said about Ruggs, and Ruggs did go first. He's like, yeah, this guy leaves Ruggs in the dust. I was like, okay. So he's saying this guy's way more explosive than Ruggs. So I do think most people are going to put Chase number 1, but I'm going to tell you, people that covet the explosion and the speed, not the size, and not that Chase is only 6 feet tall. He's not. This isn't Julio Jones. And let's think about that. Julio Jones went 27. Talk about the value at Alabama, winning games, making big plays. He went 27. So talk about the undervaluing of the wide receiver position when he came out. Right? AJ Green went way up there. Or no, he didn't go 27. I take that back. The Falcons used 27 to get up and get him. I'm sorry.
I was looking it up, and I'm like, I could swear he and AJ Green went really high. He went 6th in the 2011.
All right, he went 6. Okay, and they moved 27 to get him. That's what I always remember. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah, none of these guys are Julio Jones as far as the athletic freak nature of things.
Yeah,
but I think the league covets more create separation as opposed to win jump balls, which Julio Jones can do all of it.
Right.
And so who are the teams that would be picking?
Well, right now it's 4 is Atlanta, 5 Cincy, 6. I got that wrong. I said Philly, Miami. So Miami 6. That's the tipping point right there. It's Miami, Detroit at 7, Carolina's 8. So is Miami going to take him to pair him with Tua? Now here's the thing. I wouldn't play the under because I feel like there's only one team that can take him because the under is minus 200. So most of it's banking on someone moving up in front of Miami or Miami taking him. Otherwise, he's going to go 7 on down.
Yeah, I do feel like I can't remember my goddamn insider thing. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I'll say after. Yeah, I'll say the wide receiver slide. I'll let that go.
And you're getting plus
what's Waddle's number?
Waddle is might not be on this list. I can find it for you though.
Because I'll take Waddle to go under. I'll take him to go high. I think the value's there.
I'll find it for you.
Because one of the scouts I talked to is a guy who has sway in his organization, and he's big on him. And if he's big on him, there's other teams that are.
Let's go further down. Running back Najee Harris over under the 29 pick. Over under 29.5. It's basically even on both sides. 105, 115.
Do you think Najee Harris is a franchise back?
No. I think there's a certain size that they look at and they're like, yeah, you're too big. Like Derrick Henry's one thing, but when you're 6'2", 235 pounds or 230, I don't know.
What is there a line on Travis Etienne to be the top running back?
Yes. Yes.
I would play that one.
I think he's minus 150 to be the top back.
I would play that one.
Don't quote me on that.
No, he's minus 150. No, Harris is the favorite. I looked at those lines. You
sure?
Me. Hang on, let me see.
You probably have it.
Well, one of the ones I looked at, I saw had Harris as the minus, and it was plus on ATN. If that's the case, I'm all about ATN to be the first running back taken.
Let's see. Was that the last?
Because personally, I would take ATN as the first back.
Wow. Sorry, I was just getting the update on the odds to be the third pick in the 2021 NFL draft. Now Fields is plus 120. Like I told you 2 days ago, he was 225. Of course, the split on this sucks because it's an offshore, but whatever.
It happens.
So here, Brady's got it. You're right. Harris is the favorite, 150. Travis Etienne plus 180.
Yeah, I would take ATN to be the first back. That's where I would go. Because I think he catches the ball, and I think that's what the modern NFL is.
Yep.
I mean, Henry is a unicorn. So if your plan is to recreate Henry, you're making a big mistake. That's what I think.
Trey Lance over under 6.5. You see how many guys we have around this 4.5, 5? Like they all can't go. Once Lawrence and Wilson go, and then there's a third quarterback at 3, someone's getting squeezed out. Maybe 2 of them are getting squeezed out.
The
under on that is shaded. So for him to go higher than 6 or higher is minus 130.
Oh, I'd take after.
Yep. I mean, to me, I'm looking at all the offensive players. I'm going over on most of them.
Where's Mac Jones?
Well, like I just said, he's minus 190 to be the 3 pick.
What's his? Does he have a pick with the over under?
He's 3.5, but I have to look up the shade, the price on it.
See, I think if you take over on both him and Lance.
Yeah. I have Waddle here. You were asking about that.
Yeah.
He's also over under the 11.5 pick. Over is the favorite slightly, minus 125.
I'd take under.
Okay. So you get plus 105 on that. How about after last year? It was last year, right? The Titans took the offensive tackle who was already busted out, Isaiah Wilson.
Was that last year or the year before?
Yeah, I think it was last year.
I think it was last year.
So he was a 29th pick. How freaked out do you think the league is? Like, hey, we don't get to do our normal vetting. We don't get to sit down with these guys like we want to. How freaked out are they over anyone who has a red flag off the field? And the reason I mention is Micah Parsons was thought at one point to be a guy who could go top 8. Now his over-under is 11.5.
So, the Rams have pulled all their people from the pro days. And part of it is safety protocols, but also they're trying to go Moneyball. And they're saying all the time that's spent traveling and going down there and socializing with other scouts and coaches and all that, it's a waste of time. And we're getting way more film study done, and we're much more prepared because we're not going to pro days, and we're not sending guys, when the combine, they're not going to send everybody to the combine anymore and do all that kind of stuff. So the Rams don't think it's valuable. So from that standpoint, it shouldn't affect the Rams. And they say that they get better interviews by Zoom because the kid's not sitting there looking at 8 people, so he's much more relaxed and much more honest, just staring at a screen at one person. The Athletic wrote an article about this. So if you buy what the Rams are selling, you should be more effective by being virtual. I don't know that I 100% buy it. I think there's something to be said to see somebody's mannerisms, see how they walk in, how do they treat the person who's walking them in. You get a vibe for who they are. So I'm fine if you say we don't have to send our whole scouting department down, but I think you need to lay eyes on what's the character of this individual around the people that are around him, and you can only do that if you see him before he gets on the screen.
First wide receiver taken. Jamar Chase is minus 500. Devontae Smith 4-1. Jalen Waddle 6-1.
I take Waddle. I take a shot.
Yeah, I think that's your bet.
The play on that last year. Similar numbers, and Ruggs went first.
That's
now, Ruggs
not
being successful hurts Waddle. But again, I was told by one guy, there's one animal at wideout. It's Waddle.
Nice. I wanted to punch up DraftKings real quick because I had that was William Hill. Over under offensive players taken in the first round. It's 18.5. I'll go under.
You think defense will come calling? Where?
Yeah.
What? Corner?
Yep.
Corner's the one. There's not many corners in all these
line. There's a lot of guys kind of all grouped up at edge rusher. You can see people getting all crazy over edge rusher, especially in the 20s.
Yeah, I'm looking here. The Fleetfoot middle linebackers will go. Surtain will go. Horn will go. Farley will go. At least 3 corners. I think at least the 2 Miami DNs and Kwity Paye will go. Newsom from Northwestern. I don't know that Mooring from TCU will go. I think people are a little hot on him.
Dude, you know what's funny with the safeties? The Raiders are the freaking wild card. They're just they will grab a guy who people will say they can get 30 picks later, and they love to pick for need. So they're either going to pick a right tackle, or they didn't solve the free safety issue because Eric Harris was there and he just wasn't good. So I could see him reaching for a safety, and they're like, we got a starter. Like, all right, there's like 15 guys on the board who were rated higher than him, but grab the safety at 17 because you need a starter.
I think I'm going to take the over 18.5. What's the line on offensive players?
I think it was down the middle. Sorry, I punched up DraftKings there.
No, that's fine. I think I'll take the over 18.5.
Look at you, okay. Look at you.
I think it's too easy to be like 16 is an even split. I think Kadarius Toney is a guy that's on the fringe, but I think he'll get in there. I think more offensive tackles are going to go. Like the one guy, like I keep seeing the Chiefs listed. In fact, I'm looking here at one of them, one of the mock drafts that has, I think.
Over's minus 120, by the way, on 18.5 offensive players.
Yeah, I'll take the over. Walker Little, the offensive tackle from Stanford, is going to go in the first round. I've seen numerous drafts that have him going 63 to the Chiefs. He will go in the first 32 picks.
All right.
There's going to be more O linemen go than people realize. Yeah, I'll take the over.
First defensive lineman taken, Kwity Paye, minus 200. Jalen Phillips, plus 200. Barmore, 8-1. Whatever his name is, Russo, 8-1.
The only bet I would make there is Russo.
Yeah.
Because of the value. 6'7", 260, tons of upside. While still being semi-productive. Barmore is wait a minute. Man, I'm getting confused. You know how I am with names. Where's Barmore from?
Get us Barmore.
Try to see, because there's the one Penn State,
Alabama.
Oh, Barmore, the D tackle from Alabama.
Yeah.
No, he's not going first. So yeah, I the value is in Russo. Okay, who's this Penn State kid? There's a Penn State, Jason Away. Right, ran a 4.36 40 at 257 pounds and almost 6'5". Had 0 sacks last year for Penn State. But he is projected by a lot of people to go in the first round. Christian Barmore, an interior defensive lineman, is not going to go that high. They're waking up to that fact. No chance. So I would bet either one of the Miami guys and roll the dice. Next.
I was looking at individual team props for picks, like what position.
Okay.
Yeah, they might not have them all up yet. Yeah, don't worry about that one.
If it's anywhere near even money on offensive tackle for the Chiefs, if I were going to lay the odds, I'd put minus 220 that the Chiefs take an offensive tackle. Minus 120 that they trade up.
Wow.
On whatever they do, that they trade up, because Brett Veach has never traded down. And unless they go get Russell Okung or Villanueva or make a trade for a tackle, they don't have their starting left tackle. It's not on the roster right now. And so Veach is going to have his eye on a guy, and he's not going to wait when all the other guys come off before his guy, and he's going to go get him.
Offensive lineman plus 160.
For the Chiefs?
Yep.
Though, and I get the whole offensive line?
It's the exact playing position of the team's first drafted player.
O-line, not just tackle.
Offensive line plus 160.
Oh. Layup.
Cornerback 4, wide receiver 4, D lineman 5-1, linebacker 5-1.
I would play O-line and D-line. I mean, you lose there if the O-line comes in, though. I mean, like I would stack heavy on the O-line and then secondary D-line. They will take an offensive tackle and a defensive end with 2 of their first 3 picks, and I would be surprised if it's not 1 and 2 and in that order.
Raiders are O-line 150, linebacker 220, defensive lineman 5. By the way, safety is 14-1.
So you think they go safety?
I don't think they go safety, but there's some value there because they have consistently drafted for need.
I don't know where the passion is there in Vegas. Like, are they losing their mind about paying $11 million for Kenyon Drake and then other backs that going for $1 million?
This market's so weird because I feel like most of the Raiders fans that we hear from are actually longtime Raiders fans who are, more from around the country and from Northern California. And they are just, Raiders fans are insane. Like they're so loyal to their players and their coaches and the way they draft. And like, they just will not shit on what the Raiders have done the last couple of years. And so far, like Mayock's been okay, but Gruden taking over the first draft, that was a disaster. But like on the ground here in Vegas, most of us are objective. And I think most of the fans in Vegas are actually, they're not really Raiders fans yet. So they look at it and they're like, there's something weird about the way they draft. Yeah. And then the Kenyon Drake thing, it's like, you don't have a starting free safety. You don't have a right tackle. You probably need some more help at linebacker. $11 million for a trick running back to play Joker, or is there more to the story? And maybe there's something off the field with Josh Jacobs and the accident he got in, or they look at Josh Jacobs and they're like, hey, his running style, maybe he's only a 60% running back. They're going to have to limit his touches to 250 touches a year. That might be it.
And that's fine.
But I think the story is Gruden loves offensive toys. He like, no matter what you tell him, like, John, we have to be better than the 32nd or 31st defense in the league. And then he just gets tempted. He's like, another weapon. I got more. I got so many weapons.
You do with Derek Carr, but the idea that you're going to start giving away your offensive line, that's your plan. Like, no, Carr looks pretty good because you've put all that around him.
Yep.
Like, you need to keep all that around him.
I know.
I don't know.
I know.
I'm worried that the Broncos move up and make it happen at quarterback because the Broncos have made a lot of really good moves.
All right. So how about this one? Over under win totals are out in the AFC West. Broncos are 7.5. Raiders 17 game season. Hold on. Always got to mention that. Broncos over 7. Okay. Broncos over 7. Broncos 7.5. Raiders 7.5. Chargers 9. Chiefs 12.
Yeah, 12. I mean, like you never see 12 in the 16 game time. Andy Reid has gone over every single year, so you bet him to go over. Although I think they have more question marks than people think. I think they right now profile more as like the most likely team to get to the Super Bowl and lose. They've got to figure out the left tackle spot. That we saw how important that was. I don't rule out them limping along to an 11-6 record, having re-signed Eric Fisher to rehab, and Eric Fisher coming back in December and solidifying the left tackle spot. Right? Like if I miss the boat, if they don't take a tackle early, then I think they're going to re-sign Eric Fisher. Like I think they would like to re-sign Eric. I think if they got Trent Williams, they weren't going to re-sign Eric Fisher. But I think they'd like to re-sign him because there is a vibe that I hear that they feel like I think once you blow one Achilles tendon, you're a ticking time bomb for blowing the other one. I got a buddy who played hoops at a high level, blew one, then he blew the other. Derek Johnson played linebacker for the Chiefs, blew one, then he blew the other. Like I've been told if you ever blow your Achilles tendon, it's not wear and tear. It's that you were genetically that's a genetic flaw.
Really?
And that if one goes, the other one, it's a matter of time. So for me, I would be done with Eric Fisher. Right? Cold and hard to say because he's been a very good player for the Chiefs. But there you go. I'm not messing around. But I hear in that building that they have an interest in bringing him back. And so, that's not listen, if you bring him back, can he make it 4 games? 7, 8 games through a December in a playoff? Sure. Derek Johnson, I think, blew one and then blew the other one like a year and a half, 2 years later. So, you can make that scenario work, but am I going to give him a 4-year deal? No.
Chiefs schedule, nothing set, in terms of dates and everything. But is the crossover against the NFC East a good or bad thing?
I think it's a good thing. Why, are you excited about the NFC East this year?
No, I just mean winning games. Oh yeah. No, I think Dak
Prescott had a losing record before he got hurt. They've made no upgrades. Jalen Hurts with the Eagles, the Giants, Daniel Jones.
Yep.
And Eagles, Giants, Cowboys, and football team.
Football team with Fitzy in a defense.
Yeah, let's go. The over-under on wins for the Chiefs against that division, 3.5.
All right.
Where are you going?
Where am I going? 3-1. I think one of them will knock them off. Maybe football team.
I think the interesting part will be what happens with the Packer game. I think that could be the game that decides it because I think the number's getting pretty high for the Chiefs. Right? That's getting to be a pretty big, number that they've got to handle. So, if they can handle that, if they can deal with the Packers, if they get the win against the Packers and the game is here in Kansas City, then I think you're in a pretty good spot.
Sorry, I was trying to find football teams over under win total. Philly 6.5, Giants are 7.5. Giants are 7. Cowboys are 9.5. God damn it. The football team just throws everything off. 8. Washington's 8. So you got a 9.5, an 8, a 7, and a 6.5. Yeah, that ain't good.
Yeah, they're not going to be a good division.
I like this. This is one of the best comments we've gotten all year. I hope this is copy and pasted. Imagine if you're just sitting there doing this.
I assume there's quite a bit of effort that way.
Let's go, Chantao. Is this a cardinal with a giant schlong? It looks like it. That's what I'm seeing. Rorschach time. Here's a coffee mug with a giant schlong. That's all I'm seeing are giant schlongs.
I see a welding helmet.
Do you?
I see a welding helmet.
This is great.
With a.
Oh, I see me with a giant nose, but then there's a wiener at the end of my nose.
I see Mickey Mouse playing football in Green Bay.
That's awesome. Is that right? It's a game. That's a game. All right. And then Truth from Duluth, even though I was putting the pictures up quickly, did notice rapidly that they're all circumcised. So Kirk saw Dig Dug. Okay.
Sure.
All right.
I can kind of hear the Dig Dug music in my head.
That's a Twitch contributor who's going to get us banned on Twitch. That's the only place that has banned us, I think, twice now.
We've been banned on Twitch?
Well, you and I haven't been, but another one of our days. We got banned early on the Tuesday show because Allie, who hosts, was talking about road trips and that she uses a pee funnel. Because they don't want to stop, so she just leaks right out the pee funnel, and like there was nothing graphic. She had her clothes on with the pee funnel in front of her shorts. Banned. Then I think I did show the other time. I think I did show.
Stop pushing the envelope with these shows, Steve.
I know, right? We're never going to get anywhere doing that. I think I did show like a sort of a porn clip, but it wasn't like full porn. So I learned my lesson.
What is a sort of porn clip?
I mean, it may have been like a sex scene, but it was like an ass cheek. That's all I showed. You really couldn't tell. I mean, of course, we talked about filth for 5 minutes.
Never seen the porn myself, so I'm not sure.
I know. You live a pure life.
Pure as the driven snow.
Petro coming to you from Kansas City, or check that, Utah. Joke falls flat. Joke falls flat when you botch it. Doesn't work that way. So there you go. That was our draft preview. We'll have more draft picks or draft betting picks next week.
Do you do a draft show?
No.
So I do a draft show with Tim Grunhard, former Chiefs center.
Yeah.
And usually what would happen is when we were in studio, which we still won't be in studio this year, but we're getting close. But Mike Garozzo from Garozzo's would bring down all this food, all these bottles of wine. And, it's not illegal for the host to be drunk. It is illegal for the person running, pressing the buttons to be drunk. One who's in charge of the tower.
God.
You can drink on air.
We've been, we never did them, but we've been dying to bring back the drunk shows.
Yeah.
We had a couple of drunk shows on the air that got really crazy. Like really crazy. Like one co-host told the other host that he wanted to bang his girlfriend.
You got to be real careful.
Yeah.
If you're going to get on.
It got real loose. They both said like a couple of things that were so offensive that management's like, we're never doing that again. So they ruined it for us. Because I would be under control. I'd be totally good.
I will sip a pop during this show. But like, it's not a good idea to have, drunken shows.
That's what it was, D Walker. Mitch and Paul, who are now on VSIN, and Paul is. This. I'm not mocking on the people who are in this, but I actually believe Paul is on the spectrum. He's a really quirky guy, and Mitch is a really, I'll say, good drunk. Like he gets going. That's how I'm going to leave it at that.
Good as in entertaining, or good as in?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Are you a good drunk?
I think I can be okay. And then there's a point where I just babble incoherently. Like people don't even know what I'm saying. So that's blackout time. I think I could be okay. Maybe, you know what? I might not be best on this stuff. I might be better on other stuff now. I don't know.
Really?
We can throw down some edibles, and I'm not a blunt smoker, but it could get, I definitely laugh a lot. So throwing down the other stuff. So
okay.
Yeah. Adam Hill is doing well. He's doing well. He's on Thursday.
Why are we checking on Adam?
He's so goddamn busy now. because
it's not like is he in an accident or something? I'm like,
he's good. No, he does a regular day on Monday. I think he's back tomorrow for the legal podcast. No, he's not always on the radio show anymore because his beats. I mean, especially like the next week, he's not on at all because he covers the Raiders. I mean, it's just like the NFL draft is just, and he's a lunatic. He's going to write 40 stories next week.
Stunning. A newspaper guy is having to cover 9 beats.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've all cut back on staff at every place, but newspapers especially, and he won't say no, and he's good at all of them. So I mean, he's I'll say he's number 1 on the Raiders in terms of volume. He's number 3 guy at the paper, if not number 2 on the Golden Knights. He's number 1 on mixed martial arts. He's 1 or 1A on college basketball. If they need him to cover college football, he's going to do that. I just talked to him the other day about we have a semi-pro basketball league or team in town that's coached by the guy, what's his name? James Hollywood Robinson, who played at Alabama about 30 years.
Yeah, I know Hollywood Robinson. Had him on my player pool team.
And I had a friend who was like, hey, I'm doing PR for the team. So I was like, Adam, he would love for you to come out there or maybe write a story about the team. And then I talked to Adam afterwards. He's like, yeah, myself and another guy, we're going to follow him all year. We're going to write a story about him every week. I'm like, what? No, what happened? But he loves writing, and it's a good topic. So,
yeah, more power to him. I love Adam.
Yeah.
He's the man. He's ridiculous. And
I'm sorry. I went into this whole Adam Hill thing like he was gone. My question about Adam wasn't how he is, but rather what kind of drunk he is. He doesn't really drink now, stateside. He drinks when he's out of the country, and when he drinks.
Well, that says a lot right there. By the way.
Yeah.
I'm 104 states, so I don't really drink, and
he.
I want to know the Paulie and Mitch story. By the way, I saw one thing up there.
You know what? I think we might have to have you in tomorrow for storytelling because Adam knows a lot more about the drunk show, and he's friends with both. I'm friends, but not that kind of friend. So like I would tell some stories, but I don't think I'm.
What was said on air? Like there's a matter of public record. I was listening when New York Paulie said that about Mitch's wife. Damn near drove off the road laughing.
I think he said he wanted to fuck her.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like there. Yeah, I just said he wanted to. He said outright like I would like to bang her.
Okay.
And we're like, all right, that's might be too much.
Did fisticuffs ensue?
No, because Mitch was so far along too. Mitch drunk, I don't think has a short fuse.
By the way, I can absolutely hear those words coming out of Paul's mouth.
Oh, there's no filter. There's never been a filter with that guy.
No.
Yeah. So there you go. Yep. I know. You brought it up, drunk show.
I did. Well, I just, it's like somebody said they drove off the road laughing. I want to know what's the deal.
It was live on air that he was doing it. It was weird. There was something.
I knew it'd come. That's more of a compliment, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, should be taken that way. Absolutely.
There was also something really weird. I'm not even going to explain it well because all I remember is they started doing some kind of trivia, and Paul went like full spectrum, and it was like this hockey trivia, and he got like I don't know, like 22 questions in a row. And I just remember the name Tom Barrasso. I don't know why I remember that.
Right.
What is wrong with this guy? So it was more than a 7-second delay. I think we had the triple delay on. It was going through filter after filter after filter. Okay, first of all, I wouldn't say this, not because I wouldn't want to, but I wouldn't say this. That's crass. Thanks for the compliment. Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
stop.
I don't know. I guess it'd have to happen before I'd know what the hell how I'd react.
I don't know. We get enough White Russians. The next time I'm out in Kansas City, all bets are off. Who knows what's going to happen? the White Russian.
I had a buddy who once somebody said, "Oh yeah, that gal's hot," and it was this guy's wife. He's like, "Yeah, well, if you can afford her, you can have her."
That's awesome. So awesome.
I'm not saying that applies in my world. I'm just saying that was a funny line where a guy actually didn't realize he was talking about a guy's wife, and the guy's like, "Yeah, well, if you can afford her, you can have her."
It's brilliant.
Like that's not a bad comeback.
It's a great comeback. All right, we're gonna wrap it tonight. I think that's actually a good way to close because there are going to be some nights coming up the rest of the year, kind of that coming out party from COVID, where we're gonna have some stories. I don't know if Petro will, because apparently he's a value player now. He's a value player. He's gonna croak when a Corona's 550. But I think you'll get back at it in sooner than later.
Okay.
We'll see. You will.
Over under of.
Oh, next good buzzed story, or drunk.
No, like out and about in a public setting. Like I had people, come by and we sit out on my patio. I sit outside.
I don't think you get past the second week of September.
Okay. I'm not arguing. I'm just curious for your prediction.
If you're back, especially if you're back in studio, and there's opportunities to hit happy hour. You're going to want to see some of your friends. They're going to want to see you, and they'll be not saying it's a bad thing. So
right. Okay, all right. I'll play it by ear. I don't have any adamant. Looking for when the all clear comes around.
Yep. Things change. Plans change. You got to adjust on the fly. All right. We'll see you. What do you got going on your show tomorrow? We never promo your show. I always feel bad at the end. I'm always promoting my nonsense. What do you got going on?
I don't worry about it till about 1:50.
You are not a prep guy. You are very natural.
That's actually not true.
You don't put any work into the show. It's just that's all brilliance off the top of your head. I'm very jealous.
I can actually tell you if you actually want to promo it. Give me 1 second.
By the way, folks, this is what I have to do. Like if someone asked me right now, who's on tomorrow, I'd be like, I have no idea. I don't know. I put the plan together.
Sporting Kansas City's getting ready to get going, so we'll have Peter Vermees.
Oh, nice. Rutgers guy.
And he's fantastic, by the way. One of my favorite guys to interview because he's so honest. Blair Kirchhoff from the Kansas City Star will be on. We'll talk some college football, college basketball. Jeff Passan, ESPN Senior Baseball Insider. And we will also play Stump the Chumps. Great Cajun food from Jazz, a Louisiana kitchen. Yours if you can stump the Chumps.
Huh. We're going to talk to Bill Lambier tomorrow.
Really?
Who doesn't like me. I don't think he knows me. I'm very blunt, and he's very blunt. That oil and water thing doesn't work a lot of times, and like he was in studio and he just looked at me like, "What is wrong with you?" And I looked at him like, "I don't care if you're 7 foot. It doesn't matter." So
every fight you had in the NBA.
Well,
you were a bad boy, but you were also bad at the fights. So, like, what am I worried about here?
We're at, I think we're signed to Silver Sevens the rest of the year. I need to send out an alert on that one. I think we're at Silver Sevens the rest of the year. So 277 drinks during happy hour.
Day for the rest of the year, you're at Silver Seven?
Sorry, every Thursday the rest of the year. Yeah. What else? We have Lambier, and then I don't want to joke about it. We have Xavier Pope on tomorrow. So our guy out of Chicago, and he's been go follow him on Twitter. He's very fired up right now. So that'll be a good spot. It's always a good spot with him. So good show. There's a lot more beyond that too. I think we have people booked. I really do. Like at the end of each day, I have to look and I'm like, what's the show tomorrow? I have no idea. I'm just lost. I'm a feeble old